All right. We are live. So, what we're going to do today, guys, is as people pile in, you weren't expecting this, but I need to practice for Panama. So, and the plan is for CryptoBella, I want to say hi,
Hi, everybody.
to advance slides for me. So, we're going to use this as an opportunity to practice. So, I get to practice, CryptoBella gets to practice, and if you guys pile in, so so you know, this is, I'm going to put a comment in the post. This is a practice for Panama. Just so you know, guys. Hey, Ayok. So I'm not going to be answering any questions. I'm just going to go through a presentation, and that's going to be about it. But if you want to listen, you're going to hear the whole presentation. And I think it's pretty good. I've heard it's good. All right, make sure my mic is. Oh,
it's very good.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. So my mic is set. Unfortunately, I don't have a handwritten copy. I'm going to read off of my computer. So there it goes. So you got the first image up. Let's go to the next image. Perfect. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to present to you the entire story of pTGC and UFO right here. These charts say it all. No need for words. Right there. Okay, let's see here. Where am I going to pick it up? Because I got some intro stuff that I'm going to skip for you guys right now. I'm going to introduce you to the index tokens of the Pulse network. pTGC, Pulse, the Grays currency, and UFO. But first, I'll skip that part. I'm going to ask everybody to turn the cell phones off because I want them to pay attention, and cell phones are annoying when they go off. I promise you this won't be a waste of your time. I'm literally going to give you everything I have with God as my witness, and I'm keeping nothing in my back pocket. Why? Because the Grays currencies, good job. The Grays currencies, pTGC and UFO, are probably the best opportunities on Pulse Chain and could be the best opportunities in all of crypto. The Grays currencies are groundbreaking, renounced, immutable, and deflationary cryptocurrencies, purposefully designed to generate passive income for holders without relying on an inflating token supply. This has never been done before. They deliver the benefits of inflation without the downsides, functioning as powerful income generators. Their innovative mechanics consistently increase both the value of the tokens and the value of the liquidity pools that sustain them, setting a new standard in the crypto space. Imagine holding two tokens that pay you in multiple streams of income while your principal grows relative to the existing supply, generating you even more income. And every token reflected to you has been removed from the market, creating scarcity. And your yield isn't generated by inflation, but from tokens already in circulation. And every token earned as yield is fully backed by value sitting in LP. We're fond of saying that people come to the Grays currencies for the X's, but stay for the APY. You see, most tokens rely on number go up for holders to take profit, and their only way to take profit is by selling principal. But the Grays currencies are different. You don't need to sell principal to take profit. Instead, you can simply exit through yield, preserving the value of your principal while it continues to increase in value. You can literally earn yield the ways I'll describe to you, sell that yield, be in profit, and at the end of the day, own a larger portion of the supply, thereby garnering you even more yield. Are you intrigued? Okay, let's learn about these two tokens that are redefining decentralized finance. But first, we're going to talk about fee-based tokens. I know, taxes and fees sound daunting. But what if I told you that in the Grays ecosystem, they're actually your ticket to building wealth? The Grays currencies use fees to directly benefit holders. Think of them as the engine of the system, continuously driving growth and rewarding you for being a part of it. When you invest in pTGC, the impact begins immediately. Every transaction you make burns supply, strengthens liquidity pools, and distributes rewards to holders, including yourself. You're not just investing, you're actually building and fueling the system, creating a cycle of growth and value that benefits everyone involved. What's one thing we can count on in crypto? CryptoBella, can you answer that? What's the one thing we can count?
Volatility.
You got it. Volatility is the one thing we can count on. And the Grays currencies leverage volatility into an advantage for users and the ecosystem. By following the natural cycles of the Pulse chain network, these two tokens create a sustainable, rewarding system where imbalances in paired tokens trigger arbitrage, driving value creation, rewarding users, and strengthening the ecosystem. In fact, an estimated 50 to 80% of transaction volume comes from arbitrage, which happens around the clock, building liquidity pools, burning tokens, and rewarding users. The secret to the Grays currency's success lies in their meticulously crafted liquidity webs, allowing the Grays currencies to function as an index. Did you guys catch that? They function as an index of the top performing assets on the Pulse chain network with a special focus on RH tickers. I want to take a minute to describe to you why it's important that we bonded with these key assets. You're doing a great job, Cryptobella, by the way. We're all familiar with Hart's law, which states that tokens bonded in liquidity will move together. I want you to picture the Grays currencies as a rock being tethered by balloons. The balloons are Pulse, PulseX, Hex, Inc, and PDI. As these balloons inflate and deflate, they thereby raise and lower the Grays currencies. Now let's cover a few distinctions between these two assets. pTGC operates with a 5% fee on all buys, sells, and transfers of tokens. Importantly, none of the fees go to developer wallets. Instead, the fees are allocated to specific functions that support the Grays ecosystem. And here's how the fees are allocated. 2% to the DAO, 1% to the stakers, 1% to holders and stakers. 0.5% burns pTGC. 0.5% is added to pTGC, the pTGC Pulse LP, and burned. Let's review some of the ways you can earn passive income with pTGC. Your pTGC tokens earn what are called reflections, proportional to your share of the supply. You will see these reflections accumulating in your wallet immediately, kind of like magic, and they'll never stop as long as Pulse Chain is alive. The second way to earn with pTGC is by staking your tokens, a feature I absolutely love and consider it a no-brainer. Why? Because there are no time constraints and staked tokens earn reflections, and also because the yield is liquid, you can compound right back into your principal. You can start a stake and end that stake at any time. You can even end as little or as much of a stake as you want. Just be aware that there's a modest 1% fee on the principal when you do end a stake, which is distributed to other stakers. I'm going to make a note here. 1 second. It's worth noting that your staked principal remains in your custody, visible in your wallet, but is not transferable until you end your stake. Got to change the color here. Reflections and staking rewards are based on dollar value, not token quantity. As the value of pTGC fluctuates, and this is a key point, guys, the number of reward tokens for each transaction will change, but the dollar value of the tokens you've already earned will grow. For example, if you earned 1,000 pTGC tokens 6 months ago at a 10% APY, a 100% price increase makes that a 1,000% APY. And if you compound those tokens, well, that just increases the APY even more. The third way to earn with pTGC is by locking your tokens. And by the way, locked tokens continue to earn both staking rewards and reflections. It's important to note that your tokens must be staked before they can be locked. I have an experimental wallet that I hold pTGC and UFO in that has allowed us to garner some interesting data over the last year. We found that not only has it earned 57% APY on the yield alone, but we found that staking earns 165% more than holding, and locking earns 230% more than holding. And then, can you go back to that slide real quick? So let's see, I changed that slide. It's going to look a little bit different when we see it the next time, but that's the older one.
Okay.
So you can go to the next one now. The 90-day locks, so long as you intend to hold pTGC for that long, is an easy yes for me. Unlike staking, though, you cannot unlock a portion. And you see that there are different percentages of the pTGC that you will keep for each tier in the lock tier system. Locking has a unique advantage. When other lockers early end lock, they incur a 30% penalty, and their forfeited tokens are distributed among the remaining lockers. And here's what that could look like for you. Okay, so I got to explain this slide. This is from lookintoptgc.com by Crypto Kong. And what this does is it illustrates how much rewards could come into your wallet given a certain amount of unlock and at a certain price. So this is going to simulate a 300 million pTGC unlock, and that's one shark position. So we're simulating that he locked that up for 10 years and that he emergency unlocked, sending 30% of that pTGC to all the other lockers. And here's a dolphin position, 30 million tokens. And at the time this happened, hypothetically, the value of pTGC is 10 cents. So that one dolphin position would earn $6,600 worth of pTGC from that 300 million pTGC lock. And side note, we are averaging for the last year 900 pTGC per 1 million tokens locked for 10 years. So locking has the potential to become significantly rewarding under the right conditions. And here's why. Here's why. Unlike reflections and staking rewards that are directly correlated to price, locking rewards are based on your share of penalty tokens from early unlocks, regardless of their price. This makes locking a uniquely compelling long-term strategy with substantial upside potential. Locking also adds a third revenue stream to pTGC, complementing reflections and staking. I'm going to make a quick note. Rearrange. Okay, change the color. I got to change the color to a red so it captures my attention. Okay, this is just an example locking strategy. And this is something I've done. I've done 10-year locks, a locking ladder, and a 90-day lock. And you can break it up into different percentages. And then if you want to get really technical, you can throw all that into ChatGPT and explain the percentages, and it will tell you how much you would earn of each unlock. And in this instance, he would earn 95% of all the emergency unlocks. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, here are we. Okay. And here are some other locking strategies. Instead of locking one large bag, this is important, guys. Instead of locking one large bag, divide your pTGC into portions so that if you need to emergency end lock, the penalty will be less than 30%. Just a second. How you doing, Crypto Bella?
Good. Is there I see that there's no slide 13 in here. Was I supposed to go to 13 at that point?
There is no 13. Yeah, just go to 14 when we're ready.
Just go to 14? Okay.
Slide 13 is the invisible one.
Okay, got it.
So yeah, I really recommend dividing if you're going to lock any portion up, except for maybe a 90-day lock, break it up into multiple bags. And it doesn't cost much to claim. So, and that'll save you in case you decide to emergency unlock. Another trick is take advantage of the next locking tier. So if you lock even one day into the next higher tier, you will earn rewards from that higher tier. There is no penalty for leaving a lock beyond the set term, and you will continue to earn reflections, staking, and locking rewards even after that thing is mature. All right, you guys ready to go into advanced mode? Now, as the Grays currencies pair with high volume assets, they tap into a robust network of liquidity that thrives on increased trading volume. As demand for its paired tokens rises, the value of the Grays currencies grows alongside them. driven by the capital flowing through shared liquidity pools. This dynamic creates an environment where both tokens benefit from rising liquidity and trading volumes. This synergistic relationship between the Grays currencies and high volume assets not only amplifies liquidity and trading activity, but also strengthens the long-term value proposition for holders. At the core of this design are the unique income generation mechanisms that incentivize holding over selling, creating a powerful framework for sustainable growth. By holding onto their tokens, investors increase their share of the total supply, resulting in increased rewards over time. These rewards can be compounded through staking or locking, or they can be sold for profit without impacting the token's price or the market. Since each reward is backed by the liquidity pool, selling rewards doesn't disrupt the chart or the overall token value. This allows holders to enjoy both capital appreciation and passive income. Additionally, the deflationary nature of both tokens, along with staking rewards for pTGC and LP rewards for UFO, further incentivizes long-term holding. Arbitrage also plays a significant role in increasing demand. You like that AMM bot there? AMM bots take advantage of price differences across the network, interacting with the liquidity pools and paying fees, which are funneled back into the system and users. This continuous flow of fees increases both the liquidity and demand for the Grays currencies, creating an environment of sustained growth and long-term value for holders. Now let's take a look at UFO in particular, its fees, and the various ways you can generate passive income with it. All buys, sells, and transfers of UFO incur a 6% fee. Oh, the UFO image looks different on this one. It's okay. It actually is a UFO.
That's cracking me up.
Whenever I see that, it always looks like a mushroom to me.
It does look like
It
a
does.
mushroom.
It took me the longest time to figure out, oh, that's a UFO. Okay. It's still a mushroom to me. So UFO 6% fee. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I thought I was the only guy that thought that those looked like mushrooms. 3%.
I didn't notice until you drew attention to it, but then it was hilarious.
3% goes to LP providers, 1% to holders, 1% buys and burns UFO, and 1% buys and burns pTGC. Now, UFO doesn't have the staking capability that pTGC has, but it does offer investors several ways of earning income. Holding to earn reflections, providing liquidity with Pulse, PulseX, Hex, eHex, or PDI, and then your standard DEX rewards and fees. UFO is designed to unite Richard Hart tokens and pTGC. It acts as a catalyst for increased arbitrage activity and volume. It uses the same technology as pTGC, leveraging arbitrage bots to capture and circulate fees within the system. Think of UFO as an expansion pack for pTGC. Built with similar deflationary principles, it broadens the Grays footprint on Pulse Chain through liquidity pools paired with high volume tokens. As UFO's liquidity grows, its presence is spread across the Pulse network, boosting transaction volume. UFO basically serves as the pacemaker driving the pTGC ecosystem's pulse. Here are some key things to note about UFO. Only LP from the DApp.
Did I do that one too early?
No.
Okay.
No, actually, you didn't. Only LP from the DApp. LP UFO does not earn reflections. So guess where all those reflections go, the UFO holders. LP, any token listed on our DApp, don't LP UFO and pTGC. You're going to pay the fees going in and the fees coming out. LP UFO earns Pulse. Held UFO earns UFO. Because UFO tokens that are in LP positions don't earn reflections, what many users do is LP some and hold the rest liquid. LP any token listed on our DApp, they all share the same rewards. And here's my 1 million UFO LP'd for 6 months. And in the same wallet, I have $1 million. Okay, I got $1 million that's in an LP position and $1 million that's held. So the initial value of the LP for both sides was $6, $3.07 each. The Reflections APY for the UFO that's being held was 93%. The LP APY was 53%. And the value of those tokens today is $122, including the other side of the LP. You might have heard of UFO shares. UFO shares represent the amount of UFO you contribute to a liquidity pool. In simple terms, one UFO equals one share. Your UFO share represents your portion of the LP rewards. As the value of RH tickers and UFO increases, the cost to acquire UFO shares increases as well. When you create an LP pair through the DApp, the amount of UFO you add at that time determines your UFO shares. The cost of your shares is the value of the UFO you contribute plus the value of the other token in the pair. And here's the key point. Your UFO shares remain constant regardless of any impermanent loss, guaranteeing you continued pulse rewards based on those shares. The more UFO shares you hold, the larger your share of the pulse rewards, which are distributed to LP providers. This makes early participation in LP creation particularly rewarding. All right, this is the DAO, and this slide has changed a little bit. So when you see it next time, it'll be a little different. But these are some of the active proposals, guys, and here are some of the succeeded proposals. And like the last 3 proposals that we did, $19,000 bought and burned pTGC and PulseX, sent those PLP tokens to the burn address, and then we did $40,000 and $28,000. Does anyone not know what a DAO is? You guys can't answer me because you're not in a live audience. And I'm going to skip that part. pTGC was the first DAO on the Pulse network. Voting power is determined by the number of tokens staked. All stakers can vote, and the top 100 can submit proposals. The DAO is a key driver of sustainable growth, keeping pTGC agile and responsive to market changes. Think of it like a boat on a lake versus a train bound to a fixed track. So, what sets the Grays currencies apart from other fee-based tokens is their unique combination of DAO, in the case of pTGC for governance, staking, locking, and earning while you're LP'ing, UFO, alongside liquidity webs valued at over $25 million today. The DAO has enabled the community to strategically acquire significant amounts of Pulse, PulseX, Hex, Inc., and other assets, taking advantage of price opportunities at the bottom of Pulse chain that may never be available again. As the prices of these assets rise, they're contributing to the creation of massive liquidity webs. For example, their combined Pulse pool alone is worth $5 million today. If Pulse were to 100x, the value of that pool would soar to $5 billion. In such a scenario, arbitrage bots would need to move 100 times more value, bringing that value to holders. So, you've bought pTGC, you staked it, you locked it, and you even hold some UFO and are LPing some of it. Congratulations. You're now earning several streams of income every single day. That's fantastic. But you might be wondering, what can I do with this passive income? I'm glad you asked. You have options. If you need instant liquidity, you can sell your yield at any time, and you're not significantly impacting the chart. And besides, we're all here to make a profit. You could simply let your earnings accumulate and grow your holdings over time, and then buy something nice for you and your wife. You can compound your rewards back into your principal, or to maximize earning potential, you can add to your stake and even create new locks. It's totally up to you and your individual investing priorities and desires. We're nearly done. Here is what the Grays currencies are to me. Hyperdeflationary. Well, these are going to be a little out of order. Hyperdeflationary. 11.6% of PT, because we were working on this morning. And you don't have you have the old slides. I'm sorry. I think it'll be that last line is correct, just so you know.
Okay.
11.6% of pTGC and 7.4% of UFO is already burned. They're so autonomous, we technically don't need users for price appreciation. When Pulse or any RH ticker runs, the grays run harder. There are only 10,000 pTGC wallets. I think there's 11,000 now. I got to change that. And 5,000. I got to change that. Just a second, guys. I think there's only 5,000 UFO wallets. 2,300. There are only 2,300 pTGC wallets that hold $1,000 or more. There are only 1,200 UFO wallets that hold more than $1,000. There are no founder allocations. They are the golden goose of crypto. All right, next slide. There you go. The bigger, I'm going to have to give you a cue or something, or just a pause. Or you change it, and then I'll just start talking. Like we want to pause for the audience.
Okay.
To gaze at that image.
Okay.
It's nothing more annoying to me than somebody's flipping through stuff and I don't have time to like dwell on it, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll just have to, but as soon as you flip it, I'll go to this one. The bigger our pools become, the harder the system will work. We're averaging 35 new wallets per day. They offer several streams of passive revenue. pTGC has over $17 million. And by the way, that last line lines up here. pTGC has over $17 million in mostly burned LP. 50 to 80% of volume is bots. We have a whale that holds 11.77% of the supply. It's called the burn address. They have a combined $25 million in LP. They're the needle in the haystack. They're like a Lambo revving its engine, waiting to drop the clutch. The founder is engaged with the community, benevolent and semi-doxed. Every reward is backed by value in LP. We are a referral token. They thrive in a volatile environment. Every pulse flipped into pTGC in August would have done a 12x today. They're like cash flowing Miami beachfront property with zero overhead. The supply is continuously reduced with every transaction, whether initiated by a bot, buyer, or seller. They're paired, same here. They're paired with the most promising tokens on the Pulse network. They're getting the attention of some of the largest players on Pulse chain. They're the easy button of the Pulse network. Let me illustrate to you the power of this machine. Think of it. If no prices changed and we had $10 million in volume every day or averaged it for an entire year, and the Dow did nothing but buy and burn pTGC, we literally have the ability to create $128 million of buy pressure and send those tokens to the dead address. Now this slide is going to need a little, I'm renovating it, but what this does is it shows the difference between the Grays currencies combined, liquidity and market cap versus Shiba Inu. Notice our ratio is a 10 to 1 and Shiba Inu is about 1,860 to 1. And that'll look a little bit different when we see it next time. When Pulse 10x'd, it looks like we need a, okay, yeah, just hold that. Hold that thought. When Pulse 10x's, we'll have hundreds of millions in LP. SHIB has 7 million. I think it's a little bit more than that. That's why it's going to change. And we actually need a slide here. I'm going to inject a slide. You don't need to do anything, Laney. Let me just make a little note. You guys are used to me making notes while on stream. All right, let me get my illustration here, which I will have. Okay. I live in a small town near an interstate highway. Occasionally, a big rig ends up in the local wrecking yard. If the cargo on board is valuable, but nevertheless destined for landfill, word spreads and people come to grab free goods. This is a true story. Over time, we have had frozen beef, cherries, and most recently, pistachios. I managed to snag 6 cases of pistachios, and this bag here represents my Gray's currency principle. Now, while the townspeople eat their pistachios, reducing the overall supply, I've chosen to hold on to mine. As others consume theirs, my portion of the total supply of pistachios becomes larger, more rare, and more valuable, just like my Gray's currency. But here's where the Gray's currencies are even better than this bag of pistachios. They pay me every single day. As long as I hold them, my position grows relative to the total supply, paying me even more yield. So, just like my untouched bag of pistachios, as long as I don't reduce my principal, I can continue eating off the daily yield they provide. And I'm going to translate this sound for you. That's cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. I know you might be thinking, the Gray's currencies have already done a combined thousands of X's. Haven't I missed my chance? Let me read a letter written by one of our community members, Shaka Vibes. If you feel like you've missed your chance, let me reassure you, the Gray's currencies are a rare opportunity where being late to the party might actually work in your favor. These projects stand out not due to hype, but because of their unique mechanics. At their core is a growing liquidity web, innovative tokenomics, and transaction fees that directly benefit holders. Every transaction, even on pairs that are one away from pairs bonded directly to the Gray's currencies, triggers arbitrage, generating fees that are reinvested back into both the holders and the project. As the LP web grows, hold on one second. I want to change that word later. As the LP web grows, these mechanisms become more efficient and the system becomes more optimized than when early adopters first joined. pTGC and UFO are already doing hundreds of thousands of dollars in volume every day. And we have seen $1 million in pTGC and $2 million of volume in UFO. Does anyone have any doubt that they will do at least $25 million? I'm going to change that. 10. I'm going to change it to 10, a little more modest. On at least one day in Pulse Change Bull Run. So here we're going to go over some pTGC moon math. What this calculator does, and this is look into ptgc.com, is it forecasts what pTGC would look like with Pulse at a certain level and an X factor. And an X factor is simply how many X's pTGC we forecast will do against Pulse. And like I said, since August, pTGC has done a 13X against Pulse, but we're going to make an X factor, a modest one of 5. And in this example, Pulse does 100X, pTGC X factor of 5. That means a 500X for pTGC or a 32-cent pTGC. Next slide. There you go. UFO, and the same thing for UFO. Forecast Pulse 100X, X factor of 5. That means a 500X or a 3-cent UFO. Now what we're going to talk about is what you could earn by holding these tokens. So if you held a $17,000 dolphin position and pTGC did an average of $10 million of volume over the course of a year, your reflections would be $5,000. Your staking rewards, if you had staked your pTGC, would be $8,300. And there's your APY for reflections and staking. Now for UFO, again, $10 million in volume. A $5,000 dolphin position would earn about $6,000 in reflections. And if it was LP'd, that would be $3,400. APY, 113% for just holding and 64% for LP'ing. And make note that LP'd UFO does not earn reflections. Now, what we have here is the grays compared to RH cores. What I'm going to do in Panama is I'm going to actually ask if anybody's opposed to seeing that. So I'm going to make myself a note because I didn't include it in here. Okay. So what we see here is pTGC UFO, and the four core tokens. And look how pTGC and UFO respond whenever there is any upward movement of the core tokens. Okay, that's it for that slide. I want to read to you guys a letter from the founder. The Grays currencies serve as performance amplifiers for the Pulse Chain network. Imagine the entire liquidity web filled with Pulse, PulseX, Hex, Inc., UFO, and all the top blue chip assets, meme coins, and promising narratives on the blockchain. As new assets prove their worth, they can be added to the ever-growing web, creating a dynamic and expanding ecosystem. Now, applying the Grays currencies mechanics, both projects generate revenue from transaction fees. These fees are funneled back into the ecosystem, benefiting holders. With pTGC's capped supply and UFO's innovative design, this revenue is forced to fit into fewer tokens over time, making them hyper-deflationary. This means the price floor for the Grays currencies is mathematically pushed higher, continually amplified by automatic buy and burn mechanisms, automatic liquidity pool additions, and yield payments to holders, constantly reducing supply on the market. This process is self-sustaining and mutually reinforcing. I'll make a note here. The Grays currencies are reflexive in nature with their LP pairs. When Pulse, PulseX, Hex, Inc., UFO, and other top assets perform, the Grays currencies benefit from those price movements, realizing the same gains because of their connection to the PulseX LP. This is known as the X multiplier, where the performance of Pulse Chain's core assets drives the value of the Grays currencies. Both projects are designed to deliver fair, stable, and non-inflationary yields to holders, fueled by network activity, not inflation. This makes the Grays currencies a true bet on Pulse Chain. For those who understand what Richard Hart has built, the Grays are an absolute game changer. It's where math, mechanics, and money converge into an unstoppable force. With the Grays currencies, you own some of the best assets on chain, all within these two tokens. These tokens generate sustainable liquid yield while constantly driving the price floor higher over time and creating millions of dollars in outside revenue, which is returned to holders. They are complete, transparent, and immutable, fully audited, renounced, and protocol-owned liquidity ensures their flawless operation and security. These tokens are built for self-custody, giving you control of your assets. Richard Hart once said, "There are two ways to pump a token to the moon: create deflation and create demand. pTGC and UFO are both deflationary, and the bots are driving the demand." We have 6 public meetings every week, 2 voice chats, 2 spaces, and 2 AMAs. I'll be available throughout the event to take any questions you may have. Thank you for your time. And then last slide is there a last slide? Oh,
No.
oh, okay. I did the deck. There'll be one. It's the one. Did I send you the one with CryptoStylist in it as the QR code?
Oh, you showed me that, but I don't. Yeah, you showed me that one. That's cool. I like that one.
All right.
Yeah.
It'll be in there. It'll be in the slide deck. All right. That's it. Then we're good, guys. I'm going to end the stream and then we'll drop out. Bella.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
Appreciate thank you for watching our dress rehearsal.
Yeah.